and it's so awful, it's so dreary, it's, oh, how do you live? Veggie cob, and he was like, I have no idea what I bought, but I'm excited. To be fair, I genuinely think if someone's talking to me that I didn't initiate a conversation with, I do think they're trying to rob me. North culture is Greg's, you know? They're one in the same. There's also this mysterious Midlands. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved to the UK 2 years ago. We're gonna round up and I am just documenting my experiences of British culture and sharing them with you so you can live vicariously through me or laugh at me. Either one, both are good. I'll take whatever. I have an exciting video coming out soon, but on the weekend, last weekend, this week has gone so fast. Last weekend, on the bank holiday weekend, went up to the Lakes District to go hiking, and I did film my experiences of the Lakes District, so you will get a vlog of me in the north. But I thought, now that I've been in the north a few times, I've been, you know, Nottingham, I've been to Newcastle, I've done Manchester, and now I've done the lakes, and then a lot of, you know, Lancashire and neighbouring areas. I thought might be a good time to do the north versus south discussion video. I've wanted to do this for a while, but it's like such an important video, I feel like, because I don't want to get in trouble. I know there's a big rivalry between north and south, and I'm not here to ruffle feathers. I'm just an ignorant immigrant. So like, please don't come for me. But I still find the whole thing fascinating and kind of funny. So before I even jump into, you know, northern stereotypes versus southern stereotypes and my opinion on them, I wanted to show you this map. This is what I found on Reddit, on Ask UK Reddit, and it's supposed to be the line of the north versus south, and I have trouble with this. And I'd love to get your opinion on it, because I'm like, I don't understand how Cardiff can be in the north when it's in line with London. And we all, like, I think the safest bet of like where the north is like that London is the south. Everyone knows that, we all agree. That was my stomach, I don't know if you heard that. And then that makes Leicester in the south, and I think Leicester would be offended to say it was in the south. So yeah, tell me that. That was what a study came up with, and I question it. But yeah, that's what we're working with. There's also this mysterious Midlands. Do they exist? Nobody knows. Where does it start? Where does it end? I think there is a Midlands, personally. I think there is a definite difference between like the north, the south, and then the Midlands. Like, there is distinct. The borders, cannot tell you where they are, but I definitely think Birmingham has like Midlands energy, you know? Whereas like Birmingham and like Newcastle or Manchester, very different. And then obviously Birmingham and London, very different. So I definitely think it deserves its own title. So I do think the Midlands exist. That's my statement. I don't know where they start, don't know where they end. But then I have gone on the internet and I found a article discussing the differences, and I wanted to explain my experience with these differences, but I didn't want to come up with them on my own because I felt like that might be a bit more subjective, and I don't want to come across as arrogant and like trying to tell you what's what based off my opinion. Do you know? So I'm going to get a third party's opinion and then tell you my opinion of their opinion, so you can't get mad. So obviously the biggest difference with the north is the accents. You know what's interesting, I find, so I'm really bad at accents, and I'm doing an accent video that'll come out very soon, so you'll see how bad I am at the accents. But I can always tell if you're northern or southern based off like the U sound, like the vowel, and like the A sound. So if it's, you know, Bath versus Bath, or grass or grass, is that how they say it? And that's not even, see, I'm not good at accents, guys. But then the other thing is like they'll go us instead of us, us, and like that noise. So us northerners, like that, like oohs noise. But I find that accent so warm, I guess. I don't know, it's like really comforting. It's like a blanket. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I know she's not even, I think she's British, I don't even know, but it like has that energy, like Molly Weasley, Mrs. Potts from like Beauty and the Beast, like that motherly figure warmth. That's what I get when I hear the accent. Like, everyone's just so, I don't know, maybe it is because I associate it with the next biggest difference, which is the friendliness. So yeah, this is an interesting point because they often say the north is much more friendly, which it is. So on the way back up to the Lakes District, we stopped in at Nottingham. I had to go there for work, and we had the dog with us, and Daniel was just, you know, wandering around with the dog where I went to my meeting, and so many people stopped him and was like, what's her breed, what is she, blah blah blah. And like, we get that here, to be honest. People do talk to us about the dog, but not that much not as much as the north, where they were just like, what are you doing, where are you going, blah blah blah, where are you from, because Australian, interesting. So yeah, they're much more likely to spring up a conversation if you're like in a chippy or something. So I don't know if it's that friendliness that makes me think the accents are a bit more like warm, because I guess the people are a bit more warm, kind of, maybe. But I will say as well, the unfriendliness of the south, I do tend to think is just a London thing. Whereas I feel like if you go to like Bath or Wiltshire area, or even like Brighton, I feel like those areas are still friendlier than like London, so they're not unfriendly. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of the time the south is just London, which is not true. That'd be like, I think a lot of northerners would get angry if you were like, Leeds is the north, and then all the Manchesterians would be like, oh, is it Mancunians? Is that how you say it? They'd all be like, hey, you know. So I don't think it's fair to put all of like the negative stereotypes of London on the south, but because I found people are still really friendly here. I feel like Australia never talked to me. That was the other thing. Listen, this is gonna sound weird, and I know everyone thinks their dog is the best dog. Also, completely sidetracked, and I know I'm absolutely crazy for this, but due to popular demand, I have actually launched an Instagram for my dog, purely because I had so many photos of her from our trips, and I was like, you know what am I doing with this? I may as well put it, and I don't put it on my Instagram, so I may as well put it on, create an Instagram for her. So I haven't even told anyone about it, so you guys are hearing about it first, but I'll put the link below if you want to go follow Bambi's in. Bambino Bambi Sheltie. Anyways, often when we're walking in the park here, like it's every day I take her for multiple walks a day. Every time you're walking and people go, so cute, oh my god, so cute. Like that's the minimum. Or I'll have a kid run up, or I'll have other people walk up and go, what's your dog? Is it a Sheltie? What's this? Which is like, love it. I love my dog. Love to talk about it. I'm basically a crazy dog parent. But I didn't get that in Australia. And this, keep in mind, what I'm explaining now is the south. Like the north obviously has similar like dog friendliness, but I'm just like, Australia, man, I swear no one even cared about my dog. But here they love it. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so definitely friendlier in terms of like willing to start up a conversation. I'm sure once you get to know like a northern friend versus southern friend, I'm sure they're both friendly to you, but like getting to that point is always a bit harder, I think, in the south. I think it's because people come and go so much, it's like hard to invest in someone. But anyways, side note, one of my other favorite differences is bread, or a bread roll. They have different names. It's a bap or a butty, like a cob or a bun. Daniel bought like a veggie cob, and he was like, I have no idea what I bought, but I'm excited. And it was literally just like a burger with like a patty on it. Wasn't that bad. I put some chips on it, made it a chip butty. It was great. But so many variations for like a basic thing, which I think is fantastic about the UK in general. But yeah, the other big difference I noticed about the north and the south is the weather. Now, coming from Australia, I get a lot of flack from my family saying, oh, it's so rainy in England, it's so awful, it's so dreary, how do you live? And I'm like, hear me out. It was 33 degrees and I wanted to die because it was too hot. So it's not that, it's not as bad as they think. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually think the weather in the UK, or at least in southern UK, and what I experience, is better than Australia, because when it gets to like 35 to 45 degrees, that's not a good time. People who say they like that go from their air-conditioned car to their air-conditioned house, and then they'll go for a swim and go back into their air-conditioned house. They're not even living in the 45 degrees, so I think that's a cop-out. The north does seem to have the negative stereotypes Australians associate with the UK. So it does rain a lot more, which by the way made it amazingly green. So I was totally okay with it. And we were very lucky that it didn't actually rain on us. So I'm not complaining too much, but I do know it rains an awful lot in the north, because my sister-in-law lives in Scotland, so weather-wise quite similar. And yeah, the rain levels up there are next level, and also the quantity of rain, so much. I think it is a bit more grayer in terms of like cloud cover as well. But mainly the temperature. So I'm still, as you can see, it is September, and I'm still running around in a dress most days. Like, I haven't really pulled out the jeans yet. And then we were packing to go on the hike, and I checked the weather and it was like tops of 13, and I was like, excuse me, 13. Whereas here it's been like tops of 22, I think, 23. So there's like a 10-degree difference between the lakes and here. And that's quite significant. Like, I can see why they say like, oh, England doesn't get summer, because the north doesn't really get much summer, does it? And once again, I have had a video devolve into weather talk. Why am I like this? I don't know. There's also a distinction, I think, with the north in general, but also probably the south, but just in general. City north and rural north, very different. There's like, I don't know how to explain it, but I think like the northerners are a bit like harder, and I mean that in the same sense that like Australians are hard, in terms of like, Australians have this constant sentiment of like, oh, she'll be right, she will be right, in case you can't hear from my accent. Like, what that means is like, if you're driving and your car's making a weird noise and someone's like, oh, you should get that checked, you'd be like, oh, don't worry, she'll be right, it's fine, don't worry about it, I'm not worried. And I think the northerners kind of have a similar attitude to like, I'm not gonna get, you know, flustered about this, I'm just gonna get on with it. And that's a very similar sentiment to what I'm used to. Whereas I think the southerners tend to be, you know, a bit more, I don't know, I don't want to say soft, it's not what I mean, but like, if there's a problem, they'll go fix it like straight away. Whereas, you know, Australians and northerners are like, it'll be right, I'll deal with it when it actually breaks, that kind of thing. Could be completely wrong, but that's just the vibe I got. And that is more of a city thing versus like a rural thing. Side note, I didn't realize the north, you know what my biggest surprise with the north is? The Lakes District is so similar to me to the Cotswolds. Obviously it's not like the same, in no way am I saying it the same, but it's more similar than it is different, in that beautiful rolling hills, beautiful countryside, and they have all these stone wall country roads, and they have like these little stone villages. The stones are different. I think the stones in in the Cotswolds is more sandstony kind of stones, whereas the north is like that slate stone. So it's a bit more grey style versus like a yellow style. But just like the structure, so similar. And I think the Cotswolds gets mentioned and much more like, from an international audience, people know the Cotswolds. But I think internationally, not many people have the lakes on their radar. And I'm like, what a missed opportunity. I think the lakes may have been my favourite UK trip. So I've done a few UK trips this year, as you will have seen. And that one, I think the lakes is our favourite. I'm like, and people don't know about it just because it's, you know, the unknown north. Oh, I also should mention obligatory, the prices of houses are so much cheaper in the north. If I could handle the weather, and I'm aware this is 100% me being a weak southerner, I can't handle the cold and the rain, but if I could, oh, the houses are so stunning and so much cheaper than the north, than the south. The south is like, here's a garage, it's £400,000, and you're like, oh my god. Beer, a pint of beer is like £1.50, £2 if you go somewhere pricey, but they're like £4 to £5 in London, which sucks. Do you know, also, my friend who's from the north, but I was hanging out with her last night, she was telling me that her dad's from Preston's area, and she was telling me that like she did a shop, like a grocery stop, and she filled an entire trolley with food, and she was preparing for it to be like basically 90 to 100 pounds because she was stocking up for the quarantine, and it was 40 pounds. Like, why? I hate that groceries are more expensive in the north. Like, a pack of crisps should be the same price in a Sainsbury's in the south as a Sainsbury's in the north. Why is that legal? The water in the lakes was beautiful, I think, because it's all like super fresh and there's no lime scale and it's not hard water, so that was like stunning. Loved the fresh water. To be fair, I genuinely think if someone's talking to me that I didn't initiate a conversation with, I do think they're trying to rob me or scare me in some way in the south. Not that I didn't. So basically a difference that I noticed in the north and the south and is that, you know, in London you tend to have like kind of everything in terms of like every chain, but in the north, like you could not find a Pret for if you tried, love nor money. However, Greggs everywhere. Like you have Greggs in London, and you have quite a lot of Greggs in London to be fair, but like they dominate the north, and I do love a Greggs. I had the vegan steak bake, so tasty. I had another steak bake that was just like an oven bake one from like Iceland or something, and I wasn't impressed. But that, I don't know how that one in Greggs is actually vegan. It tastes so real. And the sausage, Greggs sausage roll. So we went for lunch one day at a Greggs, and I'm like, oh, we probably should go to like a nice pub or something, you know, experience the north. And I'm like, North culture is Greggs, you know, they're one in the same. Do you know what the warmest accent of all is? A Yorkshire accent. Like that is like my childhood. I don't know why, it just is. So in my experience, there's definitely a differential between the north and the south, yeah? Like the things I've covered, accents, you know, how friendly they are, if you think you're gonna be robbed, etc. However, what I would like to know from some like actual Brits, so in Australia, right, we jokingly, you know, neg New Zealand. Like we pretend we call them, basically how you treat Wales is how we treat New Zealand. You know, some nefarious activities with sheep, all that kind of stuff, or like the accents, like we will jokingly banter with New Zealand and they're in on it and like you have fun. And in my experience, the New Zealand Australian relationship is like siblings, you know, like you joke and you pay each other out and take the piss and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you are close and you do actually get on. It's just for fun. Same thing, it can happen within Australia between like different states. I want to know the north-south rivalry. To me, but I am an outsider, it seems more like that relationship in terms of like siblings, like, oh, you say Bath different to me, and then like, oh, you know, your weather is shit or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, but really at the end of the day, it's all superficial things. So my question, I guess, is the rivalry more malicious than that, or is it like a friendly nudging banter type relationship, do you find, or is there like gonna be a civil war? Because I just want to know, because like 2020, what else could happen? It wouldn't surprise me at this point. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what a Brit thinks of the divide, because obviously everyone jokes around about like the differences of like chip butty versus chip cob, or whatever you call it. But yeah, that was my experience of the north. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Are there other stereotypes that I have just like completely missed, or am I completely wrong? But if I am completely wrong, blame this Reddit thread that I'm getting these stereotypes from, not from me. But yeah, I loved my time in the north. The accents feel like a blanket, and I would 10 out of 10 go back. We were definitely like on Rightmove being like, how do I buy like a holiday house here? Because we loved the lakes so much. I'll be posting some photos of my time on my Instagram. Also, I've got baby's Instagram linked below. Can't believe I've become that person. And I will be posting my lakes video probably after this one. So this will go up today. And then my next video will be my actual lakes adventure, and you can come see what I did. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Bye.